First time I've ever had the wife's car in the shop, and we got to do an oil change today, so it's also a perfect transport to bring all the tools I still had from projects in the house down to the garage, the shop. Yeah, so this is my yeah. I mean, I grew up changing oil on gravel, so that's an upgrade for sure, because I had a creeper, but had it for years and never used it. So now we're just gonna do all the work in here where it's a nice comfortable 65 degrees. Just phenomenal. Good lighting. Got another light for the working underneath here. And we're gonna get to work cleaning this out, and yeah. But I gotta go check a gopher trap real quick because I set some last night and one of them's tripped. That's a good thing. Got all my oil change stuff from the garage. It's empty. Got a filter. Also brought down a light because I have a work light, but I don't think it's charged. This is just a UV light or a grow light for doing some hydroponics. So that'll work for a work light for now. We're gonna set that up on the floor. Change our oil. It's my work light today. Oh yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna put that over here. All right. So we have a skid plate, which I think is 12 millimeter bolts. 10, 12. It's been a minute. Let's pull the skid plate off. That one's loose. And then we can get to our oil pan. Nothing like using the wrong tool for the job. The only thing I could use that would be an impact would be my Makita. That I use for woodworking, but we're just gonna go with this since, you know, why not? There's only a couple of them. Of course, we'll put them underneath the tire so we inevitably forget about one of them, and then, well, we wouldn't drive over it because we're going the other direction. But looks like we have a CV boot that's ripped open. We're gonna have to fix that. That's phenomenal. That seems fine. Seems totally fine. Only maintenance I've had on this car, this Sequoia, since we bought it 7.5 years ago, is the regular interval timing belt, water pump, all the important stuff, which I did myself, and an alternator and a battery. I just put a new battery in it,
The last battery I put in it was a O'Reilly Superstar. I don't even know which one it was. I think it's a Superstar. I think I got 6 years out of it, which for an O'Reilly battery, $150. 6 years is, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining in the least. I can just go back here. That seems totally fine. Here's our oil filter and drain plug, which I have new crush washers for. So we're definitely gonna have to fix this. I'll bring you guys in and show you. I got a leaking CV boot on my front stub shaft or half shaft for my on the passenger side. Fun. So get a boot repair kit or something. But let's get this oil change done first. I gotta get my pan. We moved about a year ago. I tell you, I neglected the oil change, but it's had full synthetic high mileage oil and we don't drive that much. I just made sure it was full. This is one of those things that you haul it with you, but you don't want to because it's dirty, but you're gonna end up buying it every single time. You either throw it away or you move houses, and so I'd hate wasting like that. So, is this a 14 again? Or do we get a, oh, is this a 12? I think it's a 14. Yeah, it's a 14. We're gonna grab a 14 and crush washers. Can I just tell you how difficult it is to get a camera on the tripod underneath the car? So my youngest daughter, who got me shop towels for Christmas, who's wise beyond her years, because apparently she knew Dad gets dirty when he does stuff. Oh, I got those now. Yeah. I didn't over tighten it, because why would you do that? It's got a new crush washer, so it's not gonna leak. Oil should be warm. I drove it this morning. It is. It's not too hot though. Nobody in their right mind wants to deal with 200-degree oil, because that's just not, we don't do that anyhow. That sounds like not fun. We'll let that drain. And then when she's done, we'll scoot it over. And we'll do the filter. This oil definitely needed to be changed. One of these. I had them in the glove box of this car, so it's been a minute. I think that's what we're going to use. I'm not going to touch my phone because it's coated in, my gloves are coated in oil. She's pretty good. She's just barely leaking. I don't think you're going to get anything else out of here. No, it's just dripping. It's not even a stream anymore. Anything that's on there that's like metallic, or I don't think there's anything metallic, which is good. Great. Okay. Use the old arm torque-o-meter. We don't use a torque wrench unless we have to. good. Let's move over and do the filter. Here's my filter. Let's get this pan over. And then we'll grab the new one when this is draining. It should be too tight because I did it. Yeah. Because I know the next guy is getting me. I didn't over torque it. Try not to make a tremendous mess. You could argue in the comments down below, do you put oil in the filter? I don't think I ever have. I could pour some oil in. Maybe I will. I'm gonna let her drip. Let her go. Get as much of that stuff out of there as possible. This is a Mobile 1 filter. A lot of people say don't use Fram because they're junk. So we're using a Mobile 1. So there you go. We're using a Mobile 1 filter. I know this is probably like watching paint dry, right? Really exciting. We're good. So one mistake people make when they're changing their oil that sometimes leads to issues is they'll get an O-ring from their old filter and it will be stuck on the face, the mating surface of the housing up underneath the car. So if you ever have a double O-ring, under pressure the double O-ring can blow out. They'll like, you have a leak. You could pump out most of your oil pretty quick, and then if you're not paying attention to your gauges, you're running your engine dry, and then that's when catastrophe strikes. So try not to do that. This thing's pretty good. We're gonna take a little bit of oil from here, put it on the new O-ring. That's what my daddy always did. R.I.P. Dad. And then, just for the sake of sanity, make this nice and clean. We already got oil on our mating surface on the O-ring. I think there's a rule. It's like when the O-ring touches, it's like one rotation. I think we're gonna get probably half. Ooh. Three-ish quarters of a rotation, which I'm happy with that. So there's that, and we just need to put oil in her. I'm not going to put it in the filter. I've never done that. This engine has a lot of miles on it. I know what the fill is with the filter change. I have it written down under the hood. Oh, this filter is draining in our pan, so we're going to let it continue to do that. And put our oil bag, new oil in, and then our skid plate on after we look at the split CV boot, which I'm going to have to fix. Yay! So let me bring you in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So we have, you see something like this? That buildup? It's going to be on every surface anywhere close to that boot. So we have a split in our CV boot, and it's getting everywhere. Why is that bad? Because there is a flexible joint in here, drive joint, that is lubricated. And the only lubrication is held in by that boot, this heavyweight grease. So now all this is getting flung out. So let me tell you, brother, not a big deal when you're not using four-wheel drive, but if you are, yeah, you're going to want that lubricated for sure. So we're going to have to examine that. That'll be in the next project, but at least I know what I need to research and get parts for. So that'll be in the next one. Otherwise, it looks pretty good under here. The only leak that I saw was a little dripping from the filter seal, which is okay. That's good now. We just changed that out. And a lot of the issues with these Sequoias, people talk about buying used ones, is frame damage. Like if it's an East Coast car, salt and stuff like that. This was a, where did this car come from? I want to say it was in Florida at some point. But then we bought it in Washington State, and it is mint underneath. I mean, there's not an ounce of rust or just even an indication of rust anywhere. So that's a good thing. So. And the other issue with these is, from what I've been hearing, is lower ball joints. So we're going to have to check those out. Maybe we'll get this thing jacked up at another date and wiggle this thing around and see if it's playing the LBJs, they call them. But this thing has pretty low miles for being an '07 at 150,000. And it's never been driven hard or off-road. So I think we'll be good. So... but that'll be a project for another day. We don't need gloves until we get underneath the car. So I'm just going to use, let's see. We got one of these large funnels here. I've been using for years. And we're just going to make sure there's no debris. There's crap in here from... was sitting in my shop, like woodworking stuff. I'm gonna take the cap off here. That'll get us going. So I have the oil change capacity written down here. 5W30, 6.6 quarts. Can't read that, with filter. Or you could reference a manual every time if, you forget, because who doesn't forget things? So this is a gallon, or 5 quarts. These are 5 quarts, so that'll get us most of the way there. We'll start it, and then we'll add another 1.6. So let's remove our seal. Oh no! Don't spill it everywhere. Be great. Great if you didn't do that. Very exciting. Very windy here in Texas. I'm near Weatherford. Very windy here right now. You hear the wind chimes outside going nuts. So there is 5 quarts. I'm gonna get our money's worth out of that guy. We can prop these up. Is she gonna fall? Yeah, she might. Nope, it's not going to stay. We'll hold it for a minute. Oh! It's going to stay on its own. Give her a minute. Put a little bit more in there. All right, it's been like 5 minutes. So I always keep the empties and then funnel old oil back in. Take those to your auto parts. And they can recycle it for you because that's what you should do. So you can recycle your oil, or if you're one of the people that has some kind of an oil burning stove that you use outdoors for heat, or something else that uses used motor oil, you can recycle it. But I don't want to put more than about 6 quarts in here right now. These are nice. They have a nice little indicator on the handle. Like right here. Here it's the 4 quart mark, and then goes 3 all the way down to 1. So we just put in almost another quart. We're gonna do that. A little bit more. So we're at 6.
And we're gonna start it up. I'm gonna start this, but I always vent the garage and I use a fan. I did car audio install when I was a kid. When they run the cars in the bays for more than a few minutes, I get a headache. So, you know, obviously my body's sensitive to carbon monoxide, so we don't play around with that. So. That's good. Let it run for a minute or two. Check our oil level. And top it off. And then we gotta detail this thing because it's a dirty pig right now. Alright. Time to top off the oil. We'll check the level here after it sits for a minute. And then top it off. Should take about another... Yeah, take another half quart. So it's about right there. That's when it's going to be full. And I'll verify that with the dipstick. As you can see, we are going to focus. Probably not. It's on the bottom dot. We're going to be at the top. All right, we're top off. I'm gonna run it probably a day or two and then we'll check the level later. Should be about 6.5 quarts, which is what is required for oil filter change on a Sequoia 4.3? I don't know, I can't remember right now. Anyhow, results may vary. All right, let's see if these are anywhere near 35. So I have one of these. It's an Amazon deal, which I love. Better than not having something, I'll tell you that. It says they're low. It says they're 29, 28 right now, which is a lot. Get to 35. The weather's gotten colder. We'll have to check these just because we are not using hydrogen. Hydrogen? Nitrogen. Duh. So 35, we'll go to 36 just for good measure. 30, close enough. There we go. Probably why I didn't feel that great driving down the road. It felt like it was a little squishy. Because they're all low, I bet you they are. We're gonna go check the rest and find out. So I'll be the first to admit, I didn't check the tire pressures when things started to get cold. So most of these were at least 5 pounds low, and 2 of them were about 8 to 10 pounds low. Why does that matter? Tires don't wear properly when they're not properly inflated. They also don't perform the way they're supposed to when they're properly inflated. So the car feels squishier, doesn't handle as well. Honestly, it could feel like something else is wrong if your tire pressure is low because the car just sways too much or whatever the issue may be. So that's negligence on my part, but I'm willing to admit that. The other thing is if you overinflate them, which you don't want to do that. They'll wear irregularly. I mean, you might get a bald spot right down the center where there's good tread left, or where there was good tread, and then then you're changing out tires more often. And I don't know about you, but I don't have money laying around to buy new sets of tires when it's minimum $600-700 plus installation. And it's a factory size tire, but it's no Honda Civic, so